Welcome back. So some big news yesterday being announced by KCP Racing and Emerson Axsom that he will be the new driver of that car to finish out the 2025 season with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. Emerson Axsom, the 20-year-old driver out of Franklin, Indiana, he is a rising star in this sport. I think he's going to have a lot of really good years to come, so long as he doesn't decide to go pavement racing or whatever. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think that Emerson Axsom over the next 10 years is going to be a guy that competes for a lot of wins. He's already shown in a very short amount of time that he can compete at a very high level. And so I like this move for the KCP team. They get a young up-and-coming driver that has shown a lot of promise in a very short amount of time. And for Emerson Axsom, he gets to hop behind the wheel of a car that is very, very experienced. It's been around the country several times. It's ran the Outlaw Tour. So it's got great equipment as well. It runs very well at Knoxville. I think that Emerson Axsom is making a good move here. The one thing that I do not enjoy about this move is that it takes a really good car off of the racetrack with the Klossmeyer Petrie Motorsports 27 car. I don't particularly like that, but from what Emerson Axsom said in his Twitter and Facebook post, it does sound like that car will be back in 2026. And so for Axsom, yeah, I mean, they're going to be back together at the end of the year. We'll talk more about that here in just a moment. But 38 races are remaining on the World of Outlaws schedule for Axsom to complete. And so they race tonight. So we'll find out how things are going very, very quickly with this team. They race tonight at BAPS. They race Williams Grove Friday and Saturday. And then they run at Weedsport in New York on Sunday. Weedsport, one of my favorite racetracks in the country. So I'm always looking forward to watching that one. KCP Racing sits currently 8th in the overall point standings with the Outlaws. They are 240 behind Donnie Schatz, and they are just 2 points ahead of Bill Baylog, and they are 10 points ahead of Chris Wyndham and 68 points ahead of Garrett Williamson. So Emerson Axsom, I'm not sure what the pressure is on him from KCP and Matt Barbara, but you would have to imagine they kind of want him to get things going here pretty soon, because if he does not, over the next 4 nights, I mean, he could easily fall 3 positions in the points, and that would be a major difference in money at the end of the year when it comes to that season-long championship check. And so that's the reason they're doing this anyways. I mean, you don't run 42 races of the Outlaw schedule just to fall off the road and not finish the year and not get that championship check at the end of the season. And so KCP, I think they're hoping that he can just maintain that 8th position, maybe 9th, because Baylog is right there. But I think that they really want him to stay in that 8th or 9th spot, get that solid championship check, and then figure things out for 2026. Now, speaking of this and silly season, in my opinion, I feel like the silly season dominoes, as of right now, are going to come to a stop. You know, if this car would have picked up a driver like a Ryan Timms, for example, or a driver like, let's just throw a random one out there, like a Justin Peck or something, then those 2 cars, the Liebig Motorsports 10, the Rudine 26, they would have been looking to find another driver to fill the seat of those 2 cars. Then that would have continued the domino cycle. But with this, I do not think we'll see any more moves stemming from this entire situation. The Klossmeyer Petrie Motorsports 27 car was built around Emerson Axsom. It was centered around him. This is a team that is building for the future with this driver. And so I don't think they're going to put anybody else in this car for the rest of the year. In Emerson's post, they said, KPM, we talked to each other, and they're going to build up for next year. And I'm looking forward to the future with them. And so it makes it sound like Emerson Axsom is going to be back in the 27 car for 2026. So meaning in the offseason, at the end of the Outlaw schedule, the KCP team will be looking for a driver at the end of the year. I just don't see Emerson Axsom going to the 18 when he has a car that these guys have been behind him ever since he started, and they're trying to get a really, really competitive team out on the track to run a national tour in the future. So I think that this car will be back next year with Emerson Axsom. I don't think that we'll see anybody else behind the wheel of it here this year. Now, Emerson Axsom, he is a future star of this sport. There is no doubt about that. He is going to be a guy that wins several World of Outlaws races. He's going to be whether he runs high limit or the Outlaws, he's going to be a guy that's in the top 5 in the point standings, I think, in the next 5-10 years, over many, many years. He's already proven that he can figure things out very, very quickly. Last year in his first full-time season, full-time 410 season, he almost won an Outlaw show on 2 different occasions. He made the Kings Royal in his first ever attempt, ran top 10. He made the Knoxville Nationals in his first ever attempt, Didn't run well in the feature, but it doesn't matter. You made the freaking Knoxville Nationals in your Rookie of the Year debut. And so Emerson Axsom has proven that he knows how to drive these cars. He's figured them out very, very well. And so, like I said, I think he is a top prospect. I don't know if that's a word that we normally use here in dirt racing, but there's no doubt about it that Emerson Axsom is definitely going to be a guy to watch for over the next couple of years. Now, speaking of that, I did want to mention this because I don't think that they have improved year over year from where they were at last year, from 2024 to 2025. I think that they were hoping for a little bit more success last year with just the Outlaws. They had 21 starts in 2024, 3 top 5s, 7 top 10s, and a 12.5 average finish. So he led 2 main events in that one, almost won a race at Beaver Dam. Of course, we mentioned the Kings Row, we mentioned the Knoxville Nationals. This year, however, with 25 starts, he only has 2 top 5 runs, and 8 top 10s, and a 14.5 average finish. So his average finish has gone down 2 spots. He's got 1 less top 5, 1 more top 10. He only led 1 race, and that was the second race of the year of Volusia when he spun out. And so I think that the results have not exactly gone the way they were hoping for after a very successful, year 1 running with a 410 sprint car team. I will say I think the reasoning behind that is I feel like the Outlaws are way, way tougher this year compared to where they were at last year. And so maybe that is having an effect on the team's success this year. But yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that the Outlaws are tougher this year than they were in 2024. So maybe that is something to keep in mind with this situation as well. Now, like I said earlier, I do think that Emerson will be back in the Crossfire Petrie Motorsports 27 next year. I think that they will be on the Outlaw Tour or they will be on the High Limit Tour. That is what they are building towards, to being a national touring team. And so that means the 18 car more than likely going to have to find a new driver to either run a tour or run a pick and choose schedule. And so the silly season, we can already chalk that one up to trying to figure out who's going to be that in that car for 2026 and beyond. Now, for Axsom, he will be going to 12 new racetracks here in this 38 race stretch with the Outlaws, including this weekend at Weedsport. Vado Speedway Park will be a new track, LaSalle, Sharon, a couple of other new tracks around the country as well. But that is all good things for Emerson Axsom. And if he is going to be a national touring driver in the future, going to all these new racetracks across the different regions is only going to help him in the long run, even if it's in a different race car from what he will probably be driving in the future. I think that it only can help him get better and better. And so I think, to me, whichever series gets Emerson Axsom on their tour next year or the year before or the year after that that's a great depth guy to have in the field, a guy that's going to be running top 10 and competing for top 5s and wins every single night. And so Emerson Axsom, we'll see how things go for him this weekend. We'll know if they're off to a hot start or not immediately here tonight. And the final thing I didn't want to mention, do the World of Outlaws freebies get reset for this team with a new driver? It's kind of a joke, but also I'm kind of serious as well. I would have to imagine they do not, because it's about the car, not the driver. Giovanni Scelzi did use 2 of the 4 freebies that they are allowed. He used one at Eagle, and he used one during the double down duels when he got upside down. And so maybe we'll see Emerson Axsom in the KCP Racing 18 run a high limit show at the end of the year. There is one that kind of makes sense for them. It's Lucas Oil Speedway in Missouri, kind of fits in with the Outlaw schedule. So maybe we'll see them there. But they do have 2 more freebies to use for that KCP 18, unlike many of the Outlaw teams that have used all 4 already. So let me know your thoughts. Do you guys like this move from KCP to pick up a young driver like Emerson Axsom, young up-and-coming driver like Emerson Axsom? Would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. I will be watching tonight to see how they go over at the Baps Motor Speedway in central Pennsylvania. And hopefully you guys are watching too. And we'll be back tomorrow on the Rodman Rundown to talk more sprint car racing, as we do almost every single day here on the channel. Really appreciate all of your guys' support, and we'll talk to you guys again here soon.